Hey, Defiant Women. I am Vanetta, and this is Defiant Women Win, where we help women heal, thrive, and win in all the ways that matter. And today I'm sharing with you 5 things that self-loving women don't do. Listen, Defiant Women Win is all about helping women have bigger, bolder belief, not just in God, but in ourselves, because that is how we heal, thrive, and win. And that's how we get all the things in life that we desire. And I think these 5 things that I'm going to share with you today helps us check ourselves, helps us look at ourselves and make sure we're doing everything in our power to be the self-loving women that God created us to be, because that's how we get to our goals. That's how we get everything we want and desire in life. And I wanted to talk about these 5 things because there is a mandate. Jesus left us with a mandate to love ourselves, because the greatest commandment, of course, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. But a lot of times, often enough, we don't love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Sometimes we love people before we love ourselves. And this is, and we check that by making sure we examine our behavior, because sometimes we have learned behavior. We have been conditioned to do certain things that work against our best interests. And for women, since we have these nurturing spirits, we are creatures who want to take care of other people. We have to make sure that we are coming from a self-loving place, and that our behaviors and that our actions keep us in mind too, because our mission in life is to be as healthy and whole and happy and living a fulfilling life as possible. That's why God put us on this planet. So I want to talk about these 5 things that self-loving women don't do, so we can examine our lives to make sure that we can course correct if need be, if we're doing some of the things that are on this list. Now, the first thing that self-loving women don't do is prioritize ourselves last in our own lives. Listen, I know that you may be a mother, you may be a wife, you may have a career, maybe your own business. You may have all of these things, a ministry, you may have all of these things going on. And our tendency is to pour our full selves into all of these things. We want to be the best mom, we want to be the best spouse, we want to be all these things. But I'm going to tell you, just like the airlines tell you, if you don't put your mask on first, like the airlines say, and then tend to other people, if you don't do your self-care, fill yourself up, do all the nurturing things you need to do for yourself, you won't effectively love anybody in your life. You won't effectively, do the business, the work, the ministry that you're called to do, because you'll be giving from an empty vessel. Listen, you have to fill yourself up first before you can effectively pour out and on to other people. And that means your kids, your husband, or whatever you have going on in your life. And a lot of times, women, not a lot of times, maybe a lot of times, yes, a lot of times women have a tendency to think we come last. So we accept crumbs in our own lives. We take the leftovers, right? We do for everybody else. And then whatever time is left over, we'll give that time to ourselves, and we go to bed exhausted because we done lived a whole full day catering to everybody else's needs, bosses, children, spouse, whatever, and we get the leftovers. But God did not create us to be crumb snatchers. God did not create us to pour our good selves in, our good time, energy, and space, and lavish that on everybody else except ourselves. No, we got to turn that around. We got to course correct, and we got to fill ourselves up, give ourselves the space, the time, the energy to really make sure we are taking full good care of ourselves. And it is not selfish to do so. It is self-care. And if you want to be an effective mother, if you want to be in a healthy relationship where you're giving of your full self, you got to prioritize yourself in your own life. You can't come last in your own life and expect to live a full, happy, complete, satisfying life, because that's the kind of life you were created to live. You weren't created to live and survive and thrive on crumbs and leftovers. You, my sister, were created to live this full, enriching life. And that means making yourself a priority and doing self-care as a priority. So that's number one. Self-loving women don't prioritize ourselves at the bottom of the list in our own lives. The second thing on the list that I want to share with you that self-loving women don't do is we don't stay in loveless relationships. Listen, one of my favorite quotes by Nina Simone is, we have to learn to walk away from the table when love is no longer being served. And a lot of times we stay in relationships way past the expiration date because we like having a warm body near us. We like showing up to the family reunion for a change with someone on our arm, right? You know, there are a myriad of reasons why we stay in relationships past their expiration date. But I want you to know, you should not stay in relationships where you're not loved, where you don't feel nurtured, where you aren't supportive, and God forbid, stay in a toxic relationship where there is some kind of abuse going on, maybe verbal abuse, maybe emotional abuse, maybe physical abuse, you know, any kind of abuse that is beneath who you are. And you should never, ever, ever, self-loving women, never, ever, ever stay in relationships where our needs aren't being met, where our energy isn't being matched, where our support isn't being matched, where we aren't getting the nurture that we deserve and desire. So one thing that self-loving women don't do is we don't stay in loveless relationships. We don't stay in relationships way past the expiration date. The third thing that I wanted to share that self-loving women don't do is we don't settle. And I'm not just talking about in relationships, but I'm talking about in life in general. When it comes to your purpose, when it comes to, you know, whatever job or career you're pursuing, you don't settle. You know your worth, you know your value, you know what you bring to the table in every area, and you don't allow others or situations or circumstances to make you live beneath who you really are. So for example, let's say you're on a job and you know you do great work on your job. You know you are the bomb. You know you are the person that other people come to for questions, and you training other people how to do certain things. And here you are making less money than what you deserve, or making less money than your coworkers, or making less money than you know you should be making. That's settling. That's one way of settling. And I'm not just talking about in your job, but examine your entire life to see, am I settling for less in any space in my life, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, maybe you own your own business and you are, shortchanging yourself in some way. I don't know. My goal is to just bring this to your attention and help you examine yourself and ask yourself, Am I settling in life? In what areas am I settling? Because guess what, sis? God didn't create you to settle. God made you fearfully and wonderfully. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you should not get comfortable with settling for less than you deserve. So that's number 3 on the list of 5 things that self-loving women don't do. The fourth thing that I have on my list that self-loving women don't do is we don't seek permission and approval from others before we make moves. Listen, you should only live for the applause, the approval, and the permission of one, and that's God. God is the only one you need to check before you make a move. God, yes, you need to make sure that you aren't seeking permission from you're not looking for people to validate your idea or your thought or the thing. You want to go back to school, but you got to take this survey from all these people to see if that's what you should do. You want to move across the country, but you got to take this survey and ask how other people think about it. No, self-loving women examine within. We trust our internal wisdom, and our internal wisdom is made up of the Spirit of God that lives in us. It is made up of our intuition and our instincts. Listen, you are a wise woman and you should trust yourself. And you don't need permission, you don't need approval, validation, or anything from anyone. You need to make up in your mind, be clear about what it is that you desire, want, and then you go for it. Don't seek approval, don't seek permission, because what that is going to do is keep you stuck. Because guess what? You will get probably a million different opinions about how you should move. And none of them will be correct because you know what to do inside of yourself. And listen, if you make a mistake on a journey as you go to make a decision, to make a move, the Bible says all things work. Romans 8:28. All things work together for the good of them who love God and are called according to your purpose. So even if you make a mistake somewhere when you're trying to make a move, when you're doing something new, you can be course corrected. Your mistakes can work for you. You either learn, you don't lose. It is a lesson. You learn something and you use it to get yourself to the next step. But what you don't do, and what will keep you from moving, and is seeking approval and seeking permission from other people, or looking for other people to validate what it is that you want to do. No, self-loving women, we're okay with the choices that come as a result of making moves in our lives. We're good with that. We can handle it. We're good. So the final thing that I want to say that self-loving women don't do is we don't give up on our goals, desires, and purpose. And I put this one on here probably for a lot of women that I'm working with right now. When things get tough, we have a tendency to say, God ain't in it. Or when things get tough, we have a tendency to say, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't be out here. Listen, life is hard all the way around. But to give up on your dream, to give up on your goal, to give up on your desire is not something that you should do. When you love yourself, when you trust yourself, you have to take risk. You have to take calculated risk to go for it. You can't quit, and you can't think that because it gets hard or tough, that is a sign of some sort to abandon what it is that you want, desire. It is not an excuse to abandon a goal or dream or some aspiration that you have. Self-loving women don't quit. We make it happen. We have this mentality that said this is going to work or it's going to work. There is no plan B. When you are self-loving and you want a goal, a dream, a desire, or purpose, and you're trying to make it happen, you just don't quit. You don't give up. So, in recap, the 5 things that I want you to remember that self-loving women don't do: we don't prioritize ourselves last in our own lives. We don't come at the bottom in our own lives. Another thing we don't do, number 2, is we don't stay in loveless relationships. We know to leave the table when love is no longer being served. Number 3, we know that self-loving women, we don't settle. We don't settle for less than what we deserve. And number 4, self-loving women, we don't ask for permission. We are not seeking approval. We live for an audience of one, and that audience is God. And the 5th thing that self-loving women don't do is we don't give up on our dreams, our goals, and our desires. Now, I would love to hear in the comments below if you have another item you want to add to this list. I would love to hear what are the things, the deal breakers for you? What are the things that you're saying, I'm a self-loving woman and I don't do that? Put it in the chat. Let me know. I would love to hear. I would also love you to share this video with another woman who is on her journey of building self-love in her life and becoming everything that God created her to be. Share this video with her. And also, if you want to join the Defiant Women Win community, I invite you to come on over. Visit us at defiantwomenwin.com. Get on our email list. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. We are about to launch on Good Friday our Fierce Feminine Faith Academy. Oh, you don't want to miss it. You want to be a part of this Fierce Feminine Faith Academy. You will be so glad that you did. So get on our email list. Go to defiantwomenwin.com and join the tribe. Okay, I was glad and excited to share my list of 5 things that self-loving women don't do. Hit me up on Defiant Women Win, and also follow me on social media, Defiant Women Win at Instagram, on TikTok, and also join our subscribe rather to our YouTube channel. Again, Defiant Women Win. All right, love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.